Hello, you metal pilgrims, and welcome to the new episode of our review series. The beginning of this year has been extremely fruitful for any death and thrash metal fans. New releases by Asphyx, Nervosa, Ectomorph shouldn't have left indifferent any fans of those genres. Yet, if you have thought that the party is over, you were absolutely wrong. On February 5th, the Spanish thrash metal band Angelus Apatrida, yeah, I pretend to speak Spanish, are set to release their 7th studio album to mark their 20th anniversary. So let's take a detailed track-by-track look at what's inside. Here you go. But as always, before we start, there's one little catch. If you're new to the community, I'd like to take a moment and invite you to join the conversation and subscribe to Metal Pilgrim channel on YouTube, join our communities on Instagram, Facebook, or any other social media you actually hang out at to be able to submit your questions for all future interview guests. Stay tuned with the updates and be among the very first ones to find out what is inside the latest rock and metal releases. As a disclaimer, I gotta say that despite knowing about the band's existence, I've never ever had a chance to check out their material before this record. Thus, consider this to be a first reaction review. And remember and keep in mind that I deliberately haven't checked out any of the other works by this band, before writing this review. The album opens with a blasting intro of Indoctrinate. From the opening thrash and guitar riffs, it becomes absolutely clear that the band is about to give their fans, both old and new, a classic piece of thrash metal material. Rapid and rigid. A classic breakdown straight out of the late 80s thrash metal textbook would be an absolutely perfect head-banging moment for any of the future live concerts. Whenever those are about to resume, of course. And that breakdown, accompanied by vigorous battle cries, revolt, revolution, leads straight into a rapid yet melodic guitar solo, and once again to the main bridge. Multiple tempo changes make this song, which by the way was released as one of the singles, diverse and dynamic, and a great album opener. The band then follows with Bleed the Crown, a much more technical piece. Its backbone, meaning the rhythm section, is in fact what keeps the track together and deserves the uttermost attention. It's stable and sturdy, yet isn't linear by all means. The drummer Victor Valera actually does a masterful job on keeping the band intact, yet does not forget to experiment. Guillermo Izquierdo's rusty low voice is evocative of that of Chuck Billy of Testament, and just to set the record straight, that is in fact a compliment. Okay, here's the thing. I actually think that when the band was choosing which songs they should release as singles prior to this album, they simply took it and went through the track list one by one. For the third song, the Age of Disinformation should be familiar to anyone who follows the band as well. It opens with a distant guitar lick, which quickly develops into another rapid thrashing riff. It's a steady and speedy track with another wonderfully executed guitar solo and a very simple melody. I believe that the band actually purposefully directed all of the listeners' attention to the song's lyrics without any unnecessary destruction, for those are quite relevant in today's world. Like the rhinos, they only see what's in front of them. They cannot, see anything sideways. They actually have to turn around. Okay, that's a geek moment here. As it should be clear from the song's title, at least I hope so, it deals with the issue of disinformation in today's world and calls people out as slaves, dependents, victims of technology, because of their tendency to believe everything they see and hear on the media. Okay, and here I was trying to insert something to disprove this, and then I remembered latest elections around the world, and all the crap that's going on with the vaccination now and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not gonna go into politics and simply say that the guys are actually right. The following track, Rise or Fall, opens with this kind of death thrash metal-like guitar riff and keeps that style's vibe through the entire song. It's an extremely straightforward track with little deviation from the initially set course. It is worth pointing out the exquisite work by the band's bass player Jose Izquierda though. His line actually adds so much needed fullness to the song's sound without simply mimicking, the rhythm guitars. Childhood Zand is yet another classical track, yet on this one the band leads much more towards the, the classic late 80s Big Four sound. Simple and repetitive guitar riffs and a steady rhythm section actually, develops this vision of a high-speed car chase, and together with several tempo changes and extremely catchy chorus, develop a tune redolent to that of, classical Megadeth sound. The next one on the track list is a steady piece, Disposable Liberty. It is a mid-tempo track with a simple riffs and brutal vocals. And while it is rather enjoyable, to be honest with you, it actually could be, possibly the least memorable one on the record. Its placement, though, which is right after the album's equator, has been chosen extremely wisely. For it allows the listener to catch a breath for just a moment, relax, and opens the gates to the second part of the album. In addition, it has a rather masterfully executed solo by David Alvarez and Guillermo Izquierdo, which adds so much needed flavor to its sound. We Stand Alone, which follows right after, pierces the silence left after its predecessor like a swift and deadly arrow riddles the air. What? It wakes you up right away from this dark and almost melancholic mood left after the previous song with its speedy drums and a very catchy guitar riff. It's almost hard rock-like, a call and response chorus makes you actually want to sing along right away and will be a great shout along, for any future concerts. And its classic heavy breakdown will be enjoyed by any mosh fans. And while I do understand that this might be not the most technically complex piece on the album, it actually is one of my personal favorite ones. It is followed by Through the Glass, another classic thrash metal song with a rather repetitive guitar riff and extremely speedy guitar solo. And while it isn't the strongest track on the album, it actually is, one of the heaviest ones for sure. The opening riff of Empire of Shame is what I love thrash metal for. It is able to create this grand and almost epic atmosphere without sounding too pretentious. Several melodies which evolve from it actually work together in synergy just to lead to its culmination in the form of a short yet flawless guitar solo. And its final accords actually lay a perfect foundation for the closing track. Into the Wall opens with this machine gun-like drum beat, which is followed by a quite repetitive verse. By the end of the first quarter, the tune is infused by this synth part, a rather unexpected one, to be honest with you. Yet the fun begins after the song's equator. A dueling guitar solo with several melodical variations and a rather unexpected breakdown after its culmination, which leads straight back to the main theme. Overall, it is a very cohesive record, which keeps you intact from the top until the very end, giving a listener little to no time to catch a breath. And since, as I said before, I wasn't familiar with the band's discography, it actually was a great intro point for me personally, which made me want to, discover and dig deeper into the band's, older material and find out what these Spanish guys actually have up their sleeve. It will definitely be enjoyed by any thrash metal fan. Powerful and vigorous with a classic sound yet modern feel. 8 out of 10. But what I'm actually curious is to hear what you guys think about the singles which were released, and if you're watching this after the album release, find out what you actually thought of the album. Leave it in the comments. I'd love to start a meaningful discussion on this particular record. Thank you for watching.